let's welcome back the Hill columnist, great writer, Kristen Tate. It's good to see you. Okay, another shooting. 3 people shot dead at a hotel in Biloxi, Mississippi. There's that. Crime is getting so bad. There was even a brazen armed robbery yesterday right outside FBI headquarters in D.C. The suspect got away. What do you say to all this?
It's absolutely horrific and tragic. It's open season for criminals, especially in our big cities. Crime is way up. Look at New York City. I mean, just over Easter weekend, there were 29 shootings there. Random acts of violence are also way up. Just before we went on air, I read a story about a 70-year-old grandmother who was walking home from the pharmacy in Brooklyn and just got stabbed in the back for no reason by a total stranger. These kinds of headlines have become so common now that they don't even really raise eyebrows. They just become normal. And a lot of times the people committing these acts of crime are criminals who are repeat offenders and should not be on the street, but they were let out on inappropriately low bond.
Well, so now it's like crime does pay, right? It's no longer crime does not pay. I mean, it's always been that was the way, crime does not pay. But Biden's DOJ answer is now a knowledge lab to promote, constitutional policing, improve public safety, blah, blah, blah. So there's that. But let's listen to Senator John Kennedy just question Attorney General Merrick Garland and what the DOJ is doing to stop rising crime in U.S. cities. Watch this.
You're asking in the middle of a raging inflation for 7% more money, $2.63 billion to provide technical advice. I mean, we're going backwards here on crime, General. You're the country's chief law enforcement officer, and you won't even answer my question about how you feel about stop, question, and frisk.
Yeah, so he's saying DOJ is focusing on technical advice to the police departments across the nation and not really stopping crime, he feels. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, he's right. We don't need a knowledge lab to understand why this is all happening. Since the BLM riots, police have been vilified for just doing their jobs. And then these soft on crime policies have made vulnerable populations, especially in cities, even more vulnerable. And I think this is happening because left-wing voters don't always understand the long-term consequences of these radical policies. A lot of these voters live in doorman protected buildings or very safe neighborhoods. So they keep electing these nuts who peddle this soft on crime stuff until the crime gets so bad that the voters pick up and leave and move to places like Florida or Texas, where they go on to vote in favor of the same nonsense. But Liz, it is the most vulnerable people who can't afford to move who are the most victimized by this.
But stay on that
really
because,
tragic.
DeRoy Murdoch, Kristen, had the stat, 9,900 murders of blacks killing black people. And minorities are getting slammed by crime. We don't want that anymore. We don't want this for our country anymore. This is really hurting minority communities. Your final word.
Of course, and a Pew Research study from just last week showed that crime is the top concern among black adults. These communities are being victimized by this, and groups like BLM and the left that's soft on crime are out of step with the black community on this issue. It's very sad. And by the way, Liz, the companies that funneled millions of dollars into Black Lives Matter now have absolutely nothing to say as the black community struggles with soaring crime rates in their communities.
Kristen Tate, thanks for joining us. Come back soon. Nearly half a dozen Democrat senators and a growing number of House Democrats